Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Modern Engineers. Today, we're going to be doing another shipbuilding episode. We're going to try and keep this in a rotation, if that makes sense. So, we're going to do a shipbuilding episode, a logistics episode, and then another episode that's going to focus on operational goals or something like that. Still kind of experimenting with it. It was kind of voted on in the Discord, so I'm not focusing too much time on any one ship. And just spending months and months on the same vessel because they can take that much time. So today we're aboard Chimera, and we're going to try and knock out some of the tasks that she needs to get done in order to get ready for sea trials, which is a very long way away. In fact, just painting this deck alone will take a while. So first spot, I'm down over in Broadway. I am near the second or third main engine room. We're down here because, well, this section needs to be finished off. I've decided that this area is going to be a main, what is it called? This is going to be a shop. It's going to be a main engineering shop. It's going to have all of our machines in it. It's going to contain all of the equipment that we need to be able to produce things at sea. We're right over one of the turbines, as you can see. And so maximizing the space on the ship is vital. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in some like machines that we can't use at that we can't otherwise produce things when we're at sea. So like steel plates or construction components, wires, cables, stuff like that. So we're gonna make sure that we install all those machines and kind of get this area nice and buttoned up, so that it is airtight and won't run into any future issues. We already have a pipe extruder in there, so it's going to kind of be a main engineering shop. So hopefully we'll get that done. Okay, so first steps in trying to figure out what we need in here. We're not going to be able to produce a great number of machines in here, just based on space alone. But it's important that we get all the important and vital things. So the first thing I'm going to want in here is an assembly bench, which seems to be having issues being put on top of this boiler. So I might have to come back and figure out that one. And I don't think I'm going to fit many machines in here. I think, if anything, I'm going to fit maybe one or two. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's just keep the assembly bench. So, if I remember right, this is a pipe extruder. It is. Okay, so I don't need another extruder. What I do need is a wire drawer. That'd be nice. Put one right there. And then we'll put a assembler or something along those lines. I think I'm going to put one of these in the ship as well, but I'll probably make a dedicated like 2M shop or something like that that'll have a microelectronics. Kind of keep things kind of themed. There's plenty of room on the ship to be able to put a lot of these components in it, but there isn't a lot to put into this small area. So I'm going to try and keep mechanical ones pretty close to mechanical spots. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to put in here. I'm looking at my sheet here that tells me what machines produce what. So see, maybe, yeah, I might just do an assembler here since everything else is too big. Oh, I think I could fit a fabricator as well. This is a basic assembler. Definitely not putting a munitions factory in here. That'd be dumb. Put an assembler right there. That gives us plenty of room to walk around it and be able to use them. We're not hooking them up to any sort of system. I'm still trying to figure out if I should put an escape scuttle right there. And then that kind of leaves us a little bit open in this room. And I can put some decorations and stuff in here, some greeblings, some tables. I'll put this plate here. Will I still be able to not put this thing here? Yep. Looks like it really does not like being put on top of this boiler. Oh, tough. I need an assembly bench, so it needs to go somewhere. Probably put it in this corner here. There. Now, I'm not going to finish these equipment soon. I'm gonna probably finish the equipment at a later date. I'll probably prefab them and then ship them over, kind of like how I did with the engines that you saw in the beginning. I'll build them over by the factory that has all the components, and then I'll bring them over to the pier and then install them. But in the meantime, I'm just kind of getting the room laid out on how I want to. Just making sure that everything kind of fits the way it's supposed to. And I went with these big doors because you can actually, if you build something in here that is like, say, a small component or a small ship block, you can actually be able to fit it through the door just very easily, rather than the narrow doors. So it made sense that you would do that for a main engineering shop. Okay, so it doesn't look bad so far. I'm not quite happy with the layout, but I'll be a little bit more happy once the equipment's installed and it looks a little bit better. But yeah, the wire drawer should produce cabling and electronics and stuff like that, base components. The assembly bench should cover the rest for steel plates and stuff like that. You'll see these fan rooms. I can see them still missing some components out of them, because the goal is going to be to try and get the advanced motors. The goal is going to be trying to get the ship back to its airtight, because I patched it before launch to make sure it floats. And now, unfortunately, it seems that that's going to change. There's a gap right here. Might have to fix that. See why I kind of haven't been recording these sessions, because it's really a lot of my thoughts are kind of just in the moment and how to plan it out. This is why I emphasize, whenever possible, you should definitely plan your builds before you do this, because otherwise you spend a lot more time just trying to figure out what's going to go where. And the last thing you want to do is, yeah, that looks good for a floor right here. I might change it later, but still thinking the escape scuttle would be nice right here. But I don't think I'm going to get it because the turbine. Yeah, figure it out. Yeah, because otherwise you end up like me, who ends up struggling and figuring out what he wants and where. And redoing things always annoys me. We're going to do the same over here. Give it a floor so that we can actually use this passageway. And that should wrap it up for this area until we get the machines installed. I'll definitely have to put in some lights and some other features here, so some benches and stuff like that, and tables and all that. But right now, just getting the base components down. There's always plenty of time for greebling later. But yeah, I don't think it looks too bad. We can move on to the next task. But maybe get some light. I'll definitely have to get some lighting in here. I'm hoping that these machines are airtight so that I don't have to worry about that. Have to get this door finished one of these days. And then we'll have to finish these escape scuttles. Moving aft, we will focus on the aft engine room here, or the 3 generator space here. This was kind of just left as is, was one of the main reasons why it hadn't launched yet, but I kind of have a layout for how I want some things to go, and you can still see some of the patches are in place. But we're going to start by extending Broadway here, just a little bit, to try and kind of come back here. Now, normally on ships like this area is probably a laundry room, but good luck finding any laundry equipment in Space Engineers. So it's still kind of a mess on trying to figure out what's supposed to go back here and how and stuff like that. But right now, I'm just going to extend this passageway. And then I already brought all the equipment and it's sitting on the pier. So I'll be able to install all that equipment pretty soon. In fact, I might do it right now. I'll just cut out this. This will be our access, and then we'll get started. Yeah, I'll get started unloading the gear in. Okay, so that's the engines installed. It's not done yet. I seem to have forgotten to grab the O2 generator and build that, so I'll have to install that in a bit. I do have some leftover parts, so I might just try and finish up what I can of it. And then we'll move on to trying to lay out how I want this space. Yeah. Just not a bunch, but some parts. Alright, so thinking back here, maybe. No. That's part of the bulkhead. You'll have to ignore that. I think we're going to start working on intake at least. We need air for the engine to work. So I'm going to grab this air vent here and get air flowing into this space. Or attempt to, at least. So there's going to have to be a fan room, so it's probably going to be in this little corner here. And then we'll try and get the vents and stuff like that installed. And then we'll have some corridors here. Use that. That'll help pressurize that space in the future. And we'll grab some stairs here and start going down. I might actually move this back one. Yeah, I'll move this back one. Yeah, there we go. We'll get some corridors and start laying out this space here. It'll take a bit. So I'll probably skip that and keep going. So I went ahead and grabbed the O2 generator. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this, as many components as I can from it. Oh, cool. All in one inventory, nice. We're gonna go ahead and install this, and that should wrap up this room, at least mechanically speaking. There's probably gonna be another O2 generator to provide H2 and stuff like that for vital needs in this area. Go, and that should wrap up this generator here. Just make sure everything's off here. Now this will provide power to the ship when she's in port. Not a lot compared to the main engines, but you know what? That's gonna have to do. The space is still very much a work in progress, obviously. That's why it's still unfinished, but I did put in this vent trunk here for intake and exhaust. So air coming in will come in through one side and air going out will go out the other. Similar to the other engine room's layout. Catwalks will be put in through the bottom layer so that I have room to walk around. And there will probably be another O2 or H2 generator put in here. Maybe some tanks or fuel tanks and stuff like that. So a way to refuel aircraft or ships in unwrapped positions. I still haven't figured that section out, because unfortunately I didn't plan that far ahead when I was building the hull and didn't put in fuel lines for said systems. So that might take even longer to get the ship to meet that functionality, unfortunately. But yeah, that's gonna wrap this section up here at least a little bit. We're gonna move on to another section. The vote pool called for the Terrer is going to get some work on today, so that's why this episode is going to be a little bit longer, because instead of just doing one shipbuilding, we're doing two. But yeah, we're almost done with this because I don't like to work too long on one section because it'll brain fry me. So we'll do what we can for here, and then I'll come back and finish it up and get the ship as close as I can to sea, hopefully soon. I still am unsure what to put in these backspaces, but we'll see what it is. I know this area is going to be a fan room, but other than that, I really have no further ideas. So I've never had to fit out a carrier before. But we'll move on to the Terror next. Alright, so good news is this is not going to be a congealed mess. I actually do have a work list for Terror. So, first things first, I'm going to get some access here. We have a few work orders to complete. The first thing, the major task, is going to be finishing up her wardroom space for the officers to have meetings, eat, and all that stuff. So I'm going to have to adjust this room so that it's airtight compared to the computer room upstairs. We're going to also have to figure out how I'm going to lay out this room, so I'm already trying to plan that in my head. I'm just going to have to use corridors. I'd like to try and keep it as close to the main galley as possible in ways of greebling, at least. The other thing, the next biggest task, is going to be some repairs. During her last combat patrol, she received some damage in the upper forecastle, damaging her anchor light and a few other things. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that because that'll take a lot less time. And you can tell it's been damaged because it's, well, patched up here. So we're just going to have to basically just gut this whole area and start over. Alright, so most of her damage is repaired. The anchor light's going back up, so that's good. That'll help with navigation. There's still a few other things. I still have a lot of greebling to do on this ship, like mostly for her mooring cleats and stuff like that. But I'm gonna finish up the last of the repairs here, which should definitely be her nameplate, which was damaged and destroyed. So I'm gonna put that back up there. I'll get some displays in copper. Definitely glad that I'm showing this side now because that means I can maintain the fleet on camera. Because keeping these ships maintained and operational is is a task, especially when you have another ship that's demanding resources. Every ship here demands resources, but nothing quite like a battleship does. And keeping these ships combat capable and maneuverable, even after taking some damage, does take its toll on, well, the base and resources. I mean, I only have one of these Terrors operational, and I'm supposed to have three. I'll definitely have to come back here for some greebling, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna get her name put back on the side. Fix the name here. Where's the font size? There we go. That looks better. Back to normal. I'll definitely have to repaint that. Give me a second. Repaint that here. Back when I was testing the anchor system before it destroyed everything. Yeah, Forecastle repaired. She looks like a warship again. Well, she always looked like a warship. Anyway, we got a few other things on the list. I would like to fix her. Yeah, I'd like to fix some of her other shore power stuff. So we'll probably get on that next, and then we'll move on to the wardroom. Okay, yep. So next, I'm going to grab some motors and stuff. We're going to install her shore power connections. Okay, so I even added a nice little label. How about that? So, the goal will be eventually to post this ship on the workshop, especially when we get closer to replacing her, because she's a little bit dated. But in the meantime, I'm gonna work on the rest of the ship and try and get her back into a state that I'm happy with, and finish out this room, which will be the wardroom. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that prepared. All right, so corridors are in. Didn't feel like recording that. So the next step is going to be installing a floor for the small ship blocks to basically attach to, and that will take some time. This is always the longest part in designing a super gridded ship. Just installing a floor in a otherwise large ship area. I'm gonna try a new tactic too to try and secure the floor, so there's a lot less wiggling. Uh, and then I'll probably try and enforce that on the rest of my builds from the future. But in the meantime, we're gonna make a nice large floor here, and we'll require some materials. So I'm gonna grab that, and then we'll get started on the rest of this. But number one component I'm definitely gonna need is a lot of steel plates. I'm hoping to make the room pretty close to the galley downstairs for the general mess. I might add some more greebling, some textures and stuff for the wall, but in the meantime, I'm just going to secure this floor and get it started. Okay, so we're trying to gonna go here to the galley and show you kind of what I need. I want one of these fan coil units that I installed, and maybe a coffee bar, some fridge and stuff like that. Mostly the table with all those chairs is going to be the bigger component that is going to take up most of that room. But we're going to start with the fan coil at least. I went with this kind of weird like linoleum floor that you see typically in some of the wardrooms. I'm going to bring my spectator over here so I don't have to constantly go up and down the stairs to look at one fan coil unit. Taking my time with this camera. Alright, that's the combat room. Fan coil. So you can see it's just two air vents pulling in air and then pushing air through that conveyor up. The idea was to put some conveyors on the roof and push air out into that area. I still might do that for this room, but it ran into some issues with it being a little bit too tight. So I'm just gonna focus on just making the fan coil. On a modern ship, that these are just basically swamp coolers. They're providing air conditioning to the space or adjoining spaces using chill water over a transfer unit. So a transfer medium. So there's usually like a coil in there or something like that that they usually transfer the heat on over. They usually pull air in from the surrounding spaces, so they're only as cold as the air around them. But we're going to grab some of these air vents. I do not like that the requirements for the air vents changed. It used to be a lot easier to make them. Now they're a lot harder. Let's see, stainless steel and advanced motors. That's going to take me a while. Then I guess I'll just get the transfer system first. Oh, this is still not working. Rolled harmonious steel. I don't need that. Seems that the ASL mod added a bunch of random components for transfer pipes. I just need the regular ones. Do a T. And then we'll do a top. It's a standard. This one's aluminum. No, it's also rolled. What the hell? There. There. That's the base component right there for the fan coil unit. Now I'm going to go grab some stainless steel plates, put in these air vents, and then we're supposedly in business. They're definitely not in here, so let me go grab some from the plate factory. I'm going to definitely have to make a larger steel plate factory that's just more based on the components. It's starting to get bogged up, and I'm starting to not actually produce anything, and anything that I do need specialty equipment to produce is taking a lot longer now that these new requirements are made for all of the components. But I should have been doing that from the get-go. It's a little tight traveling this ship, but you know what? That's the point of a ship. Alright, those are in. Advanced motors. It's going to take me a while. Why can't it just be regular motors? They're just fans. Alright, well, I guess it's going to take me a minute to make those. Alright, that literally took me 45 minutes to make enough motors to do this. Alright, we're going to set them to intake because once I put the cover on, they're going to be impossible to access. All right, yeah, they're running. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up and just put the cover on. All right, that will wrap up this fan coil unit, and it should be good to go. Next is going to be the table. It's going to take up most of the space, and I'm going to try and maximize as many people that can sit at it as possible. We're going to get these components in first, at least for the center table. It's going to be kind of similar to the ones that we have in the galley. Focus on getting these here first. And I'll definitely speed this up again too. I might put in the coffee bar later, mostly just because I'm running out of time to make these videos. So I'm going to try and do what I can. But yeah, I'm going to try and speed this up and get you a finished table. Okay, that should about wrap it up. I still got a few more things. I'm just going to put some placeholder things on these displays first. Maybe the weather will be nice. Oh, that's an analog clock. That's the wrong one. Yeah, the weather on this one will be nice. Just kill out the background. There. Yeah, I think it looks alright. Still some bugs here and there that need to be fixed, but you know, that's a ship for you. I still need to put in the coffee bar, so I might do that over on the in this corner here. But in the meantime, it looks alright. Just gonna probably wrap it up for this video, mostly just because I'm running out of time for before I need to start filming for the next one. Already started eating into that one's filming time already. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the ceiling, but I'll figure some things out. I kind of also don't like the fact that it's got blank walls. Oh. So this sometimes happens with these doors, is one of the blocks is blocking the door from closing, so just delete it. There you go. See? Problemo solved. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this video. In the meantime, I hope you all have a good one. See you on the next one.